How's it going out there today, everybody? Hope everybody's having a great day. Welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Cash, and this is Weekly Recap. Weekly Recap is me, a semi-truck owner-operator, operating my semi-truck in the United States for 1 week, 1 7-day or less period. This is a full 7-day week, and I'll break it down for you. We're going to go over the numbers. I'll tell you the loads I did, why I did them, all that kind of stuff. It's not to brag. It's not to complain. It's just numbers. It happened to me. If you don't want to do this, I'm not trying to talk you into doing it. I'm not saying it's the best way for everybody. It's just what I do. If you know somebody that might benefit from these numbers, be sure to share it to them. Hit that like button while you're at it. All that good stuff. I'm leased to an 80-20 split carrier. I get the 80%. They get the 20%. We work together real well. Been doing this for a long time. I don't talk about the carrier. Sorry, if you're needing a carrier, you're going to have to do that research yourself, because I don't want to be responsible for your decisions. So figure it out. That's just how I see it. Let's get to these numbers. All right. Hope everybody's having a great holiday weekend. This is, I'm recording this over Thanksgiving Day weekend here. And this week is from the last week of October into a couple days into, actually, no, it finishes up the 29th. So this is the last week of October 2025. If you're watching this in the future, thank you very much. Also, be sure to hit that like button in the future. We like future likes too. And hey, if you want more trucking content that's really trucking stuff, I try to keep it high and tight on trucking. The live shows get a little off the beaten path sometimes, but be sure to touch me down there and hit that subscribe button. That's what I ask. That's what I like. But let's get to the week. It was a solid week. You know, they say in the book, The Art of War, a good general makes a plan, and an even better general can adjust the plan once the battle gets going. And that's what happened here. So, first load of the week, normal stuff, 36 empty miles, 1157 loaded miles, 1193 down to Georgia, same old, Minnesota to Georgia. If you're not familiar with this, I like to go Minnesota out and back, rinse and repeat. I'm not a road warrior anymore. So we go down to Georgia, normal run, 43,000 pounds, 0 degrees, paying $3,550 now. So the rates come up quite a bit on those. Basically, the rates came up almost enough to cover the fuel bill to run it. So I'm very happy about that. It really helps out my weekly average. So hopefully we'll see some rates come back up. I know they just did the contract on that, and I know it because the rate changed. So maybe a few other of these contracts will change rates in the upward position. Of course, diesel's going to get that if we ain't careful. Diesel keeps going up every week, so yeah, we got to watch that. We've got a little reprieve in the last few days on the diesel prices. I think because a lot of people have been off for Thanksgiving. You know, nobody's buying the fuel, so hurry up and buy it before it goes back up again, I guess, would be my suggestion. But that was the load down to Georgia. And that put me down there on a Friday. And they sent me a Friday load that was supposed to pick up on Friday and in Georgia, pick up Friday morning after I go get unloaded with the one load. Go get the other load on, maybe like noon. By noon, I could get that on. They wanted that in Minnesota by midnight Saturday night. Doable? I can do it. Put it on there. I'm the guy that does what they say can't be done. I'm just kidding. I run legal. At best, I give them 71, 72 miles an hour at the most. I'm not a lawbreaker. This one load ain't going to determine my career, I hope. I hope I do thousands of loads, retire into happiness, and they're just all a blur. I don't want one particular load to stand out too much. I like trucking to be boring. So I get over there to load it. It's a chicken load. I'm in Georgia. Hey, chicken all around, right? I get over there to load it, and the guy says, and mind you, I'm there at about I don't know, 10, 11 o'clock in the morning. Load's supposed to be ready to go. Like, they know it has to be there, because here's the deal. If the load's not there by midnight Saturday night, the place closes. And then I would have to hold that chicken load until Monday morning. That's fresh chicken. That's a claim. You can't have fresh chicken sitting on a trailer for like 3 days. Because technically it would have loaded Friday, it would have been on there Saturday, it would have been on there Sunday. Monday. 4 days on fresh chicken is not how they like to operate their fresh chicken. So I get there. I'm like, we got to get this loaded. I know the guy's there. I load out of there. Every time I go to Georgia, this is my normal place. The broker, I talk to him. I'm texting him all day about it. And the guys I show up, I know them. I talk to them. Guy comes over and says, yeah, that load's not going to be ready till like 11 o'clock tonight. That's a problem, folks. I can't run a chicken load like 1,150 miles in 24 hours. That don't work. That math don't math. I used all my fingers and my toes. I couldn't get it to work. So that don't work. So I called a broker. The broker says, well, that ain't going to ship because we're not taking a full claim on that load of chicken. And my carrier, same thing. It's not going to load. Don't let them put that on that trailer because we ain't getting a full claim. We don't need that much chicken around here. So we didn't ship it. Broker, I work with him all the time. He says, don't worry, I got another load for you. Give me like 15 minutes to get it typed up. I'll send it over. So that's what we did. And instead of Georgia back to Minnesota, he had a Georgia to Oklahoma coming out of that same facility that night. So we did that. Thank God they had something else because that was literally midday on a Friday in Georgia trying to get back to Minnesota. Now, given we didn't come back to Minnesota, but just the crap of a load I would have had to taken out of Georgia if I didn't have that connection with that broker and some random chicken load had canceled on me. I'd have been over a gum stump, whatever in the hell that means. I used to hear my ancestors say that all the time. Maybe up a gum stump. I grew up in Tennessee, but anyway, we did that. Georgia to Oklahoma, 14 empty miles. 922 loaded miles, 936 on the total there. So -10. It did not come out of the normal chicken dock. This came off a frozen dock. Same facility, just frozen. So frozen -10, 26,000 pounds. It was like it went out to Oklahoma. It went to it was like frozen chicken patties, like for sandwiches. I think it was Sonic chicken patties. But either way, -10, 26,000 pounds loaded top to bottom, front to back. And that load paid $2,000. $2,000 to go to Oklahoma. Not mad about that, honestly. That's not a bad run. I hadn't been out to Oklahoma in a while, and sometimes I don't want to do it every time, but sometimes it's nice to get a little change of scenery in there. And I actually looked it up. I had done that load before, like 5 years ago. Crazy. It's like there's no new loads for me to do. I just keep doing the same thing over and over. And then I got to Oklahoma, and they called and they said, "Hey, Arkansas chicken load tonight." And I said, "Why not? Why not? Right back to Minnesota? No, to Illinois. Ah, I do chicken loads out of that plant in Arkansas to Minnesota. This one just happened to be going to Illinois. I could have waited a day and went to Minnesota. They had a Minnesota for the next day. I said, just go ahead and put the Illinois on me. I've done that load before too. It's not a bad facility. So that next load, Arkansas to Illinois, 272 empty miles. Yes. Like a 5-hour deadhead to get over there. 724 loaded miles, 996 on the all miles on that, 996 all miles. And that load was 26 degrees. That was fresh chicken, 28,000 pounds going to Illinois for $2,100. So that was the week. Minnesota to Georgia, Georgia to Oklahoma, Oklahoma to Arkansas, up to Illinois. That was the week. And I ran from Arkansas to Illinois. I cut over up through Little Rock, and there's a freeway. They're starting to make, I think it's, I can't remember what U.S. route that is. Somebody let me know. But they're turning it into I-57 from Little Rock up to Sikeston, Missouri. Dear Lord God, please let them hurry up with that. That is needed so bad. But I know even you can't speed up road construction. Nothing can. Because road construction is the devil. Everybody pray for the road people out there, because I'm telling you, something's up with road construction. It shouldn't take 12 years to rebuild a little section of 57. You know what I mean? But this is new. They're going to turn, I think, 61. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. I think it's US 61. They're turning into 57. It's still a rough go up through there. I think for the time being, it's still worth taking 40 over to 55 and going up through West Memphis. That's just my opinion, because I did this similar load like a while back, years ago, I guess. But I just noticed they're starting to make that 57 up through there, which will be nice. It will be nice. But that was the week. That was the loads. Not bad. We will start off next week on a back haul out of Illinois. So, because I really wanted to put it on this week to make the numbers look good, because I got like another $1,100 from Illinois back to Minnesota. But this is weekly recap, not 8-day recap. So we'll tack that on to next week, see how that makes next week look. Overall, good week here. Kind of out of my element, kind of running, all over the place. But you know, it's what I've been doing my whole life, basically. At this point, I've been doing this more than I have it at this point. So let's go over the money of the week. $7,650 total gross revenue for those 3 loads. My 80% of that is 6120. And let's talk about the miles. 3,125 all miles I had to run to do that. 2,803 loaded miles and 322 on the empty miles. That is 10% deadhead, basically. It's not bad. It's not bad. I really thought it was going to be a lot higher because of that one giant 5-hour. But then you go back and you look, and a 14-mile deadhead and a 36-mile deadhead. So really, it was all on that one. So 10% deadhead, pretty average. Let's go over to rate per mile. $2.45 all miles I ran, paid $2.45. My 80% of that's $1.96 a mile, and $2.73 a loaded mile. So the loaded miles coming up a little bit, it looks like, on some of this reefer freight. I think reefer freight ought to be like $3 a mile average. That's just my opinion. With the hassle and the unknowns and all the BS you put up with, I think reefer freight ought to be more like 3. But hey, I don't control the market, so I take the best rates I can find to the freight that works for me. So that's what we do out here. That's why I say, this is what I did. I'm not asking you to do this, just what I did. If you don't want to do it, do something else, obviously. Let's go over to variable cost. $13.68 on diesel, $2.17 on reefer, $50 on DEF fluid. I paid $39 in tolls for the week, 0 parking, 0 scales, for a total variable cost of $16.74. So not bad. And we bring over my 80%, the $61.20. Subtract out those variable costs, that's $16.74, which leaves $4,446, 4446, 4446 left for me to do what I have to do with, as in insurances, equipment payments, all that fun stuff, paying myself to work. So that was the week, folks. That was me operating a semi truck for 7 days in the United States. And that's kind of what it was. Hope everybody enjoyed the video. If you made it this far, smash that like button for me. YouTube algorithm really needs those likes right now, because, boy, my channel's just flopping like a dead fish right now. A little help over here. But thanks, everybody, for watching. I appreciate everybody that watches. Thank you so much. The community that's here that, gets me out of bed some days. I get up and I say, I'll see what YouTube's doing. I appreciate you guys. I hope you find value in this, and take care of each other out there. And remember, people are more important than trucking. Hi, I want to talk to you real quick about the ES Advantage card. Do you need discounts at major truck stop chains? They got them. Do you need discount on shop rates at TA and Love's? They got them. Tire discounts. They even got health insurance now. Click the link down below. Easy application, no credit check. Sign up. They give you a call back, take all your information, and you'll be in the network.